Dead Rock Chapter 19 is officially out, and this was another awesome chapter. And I'm not gonna lie, with how things left off, I am teetering on the edge of what could potentially be a really awesome reveal for the next chapter of Dead Rock, because that is just one hell of a cliffhanger with the build-up we've had over the course of this chapter, and this is definitely one of the best ways to start off the year with this chapter. So I'm not going to do any more preamble. Let's just jump right into the chapter. But first, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. Now then, onwards to Dead Rock Chapter 19, titled Words I'm Burning to Say. And the cover image is FREY staring back with Dead Rock spelled out all in flames. Honestly, this is a really cool cover image. I really do love it. But the chapter starts off with FREY facing off against Lauzen as the fight is about to get started. Ryzen's wondering, since she's going up one of the 4 demon teachers, if she'll be okay, if she could win, because it took 6 of them to take down Bren, and even then it kind of took Yakuto to also absorb a insanely powerful white dragon creature to even have a chance to beat that guy. But Mikoto says that despite this whole fight's going to be kind of tricky. Everyone's wondering what they can do in this situation, but Yakuto says, let's just believe in her. Believe that FREY can win. As FREY is staring down Lauzen. Lauzen is being the jovial asshole self that he is, telling her to relax. If you tense up your shoulders like that, you won't be able to use even half of your real strength. And I just love this deadpan, serious stare that FREY's been giving Lauzen this entire time. Lauzen asks her, wait, don't tell me. You've got a grudge against me. I was then get a flashback of what Lauzen did to FREY's sister. You know, FREY essentially had to fight and put her sister out of her misery herself. As thinking of those memories, FREY gets even angrier, saying, how dare you do that to my big sis? I'm gonna kill you right here, right now. As she lunges towards Lauzen with a flaming elbow, charging straight at him as Lauzen blocks it with his own arm. FREY tries to launch an attack as he dodges, and then rolls up another punch and lands one on Lauzen's head. But Lauzen is laughing, telling her, hey, that's not bad. FREY charges up another flaming fist, using her blazing king's fist to punch Lauzen square in the chest, knocking him back. As everyone's reacting to the fight, FREY charges up 2 massive balls of fire in her arms, as she then lunges a giant blast of flames square at Lauzen, breaking right through the stadium. As then a 2-page spread, FREY unleashes her blazing barrage of destruction, as she unleashes a large barrage of giant fireballs right at Lauzen as he's being punched and thrown back. As the crowd and even her friends are getting excited for her and getting really into the fights, we then see a panel of Lauzen smiling as he gets up from the burning fire around him as he says, don't go getting a swelled head, as a lot of his gimp suit has just basically been burnt right off. And this is surprising FREY, as Lauzen just charges in, flying straight at her, as in an instant, he uppercuts her with severe force as her jaw bleeds and she is in severe agony, revealing that one singular punch broke FREY's jaw. And yeah, that is kind of a little bit brutal, not gonna lie. And a really clean uppercut on her. As FREY is reeling from that attack, she charges up more of her flames and tries to counter Lauzen's own punch. And as she tries to burn Lauzen and shouts it with her everything, Lauzen says, oh, I'm on fire. You should be too, with the heat of battle. As he then breaks through FREY's fire, and with the energy around his hand, dissipates her flames, grabbing her wrist, as we begin to hear cracking. As in the next page, Lauzen rips off FREY's right arm without any hesitation or effort, with a smile on his face. And as her arm is ripped clean off, FREY yells and screams in pain. I am not gonna lie, I'm as shocked as the rest of Class F in this instance, because I did not expect Mashima to do that. I knew these fights were going to be brutal. The fights have been brutal for what we've seen, but I did not expect to see one of the main cast members lose a limb so quick into this fight. That is definitely something I was not expecting for Mashima to do. But man, just seeing that look of just pain and even some anger and fear mixed in from FREY after losing her arm, with Lauzen saying, it's a shame I can't make you one of my battle pets, but the rules say I have to kill you. Man, I feel for FREY, and I am terrified for what's gonna happen next. But in that instance, FREY's reeling. Lauzen knees her in the gut. And man, that image as she coughs off blood, oh man, that is just really hard to watch. And Lauzen is just still in awe and giddy of his own action. As he says, if you wanted to kill me, you should have brought the Black Dragon. Rubbing salt into her wound, saying that Yakuto was the only one that could potentially even give him a challenge or kill him. Which, right now, I could see, but again, it's still kind of hard to judge to the point. And now something might have happened the way I was kind of predicting it would, but Mikoto is thinking to herself as she's watching FREY get beat down, knocked to the ground, and beaten up by Lauzen as he's just cackling the entire time. She's thinking that she should just stop this and use her authority from Ghost like she did with Baltigar to try and shock everybody and just stop the match right now with her investigation. But it's then someone from the crowd telepathically tells her that she can't, as she turns around and sees the head honcho of Ghost, Master Phantom, who is Ares, as she's saying that he snuck into the crowd in this type of disguise. So either it's disguise of him being Ares, or Ares is Phantom. I don't know. I'm pretty sure this is just a disguise. But I like how he's telepathically telling Mikoto that she's standing out too much and that she's starting to forget Ghost's principles. Telling her that they'll speak later, but you mustn't interfere with this fight. And Mikoto is panicking as she's thinking that FREY is going to die in this. But Phantom just tells her to believe in her friend. Now this is definitely a classic Mashima trope, a classic shonen trope, believing in your friends to get out of these larger than expected situations in pretty dark circumstances. It's a standard trope in shonen, and Mashima does this all the time with all of his series, so I was expecting this to pop up sooner or later. But man, in such a brutal fight, it's really hard to see this happening. But yeah, as Mikoto is being told to believe in her friend, we see FREY, barely conscious on the ground, now moving as she's bleeding out from her arm after being dealt so much damage from Lauzen. As Lauzen begins to charge up his super demonic macho fist, his finisher move, after seeing that FREY is still alive. Yakuto and Mikoto are yelling for her to wake up, that she has to stand up, and Lauzen is just charging with every bit of power he has. I then get to see another pattern that we've seen in these last couple of chapters, with some white panels and inner dialogue, with FREY talking to herself, saying that she was too full of herself. She had no idea how strong Lauzen was. As she begins to think about her sister and everything they've been through, apologizing that she wasn't able to avenge her. Her right arm's gone and her body won't move. And she's also thanking her classmates for everything. And thinks of Yakuto, saying, I really... And right as Lauzen is seemingly ready to land and launch his massive punch, she thinks, Yakuto, I really might have loved you. And right as she thinks this, and also Mashima, people were shipping them already, but I guess he just said, you know what, I wasn't going to do a love interest. I'll probably tease this at least right now, see where this goes. Which is, again, a Mashima thing to do. I'm sorry I broke with the flow. I just didn't want to get emotional right now. But as she thinks this, Yakuto screams out her name, and FREY thinks of all the moments, at least quick moments, that she's had with Yakuto since they got to Dead Rock. As once she hears Yakuto's voice, a awesomely drawn panel of FREY getting back up, and man, this just looks so goddamn cool. The aura that FREY is emitting, getting up for a last stand against Lauzen, I'm in shock and awe. That is just really, really hype. I love when stuff like that happens. And I just love that Lauzen's like in shock that she even managed to get up at all, and Yakuto's super glad. But as she's standing up, FREY says, that's right, I still want to live. And as she then gathers flames around her arm, she then unleashes and creates a new demonic looking hand from her flames to replace her ripped off right arm. As she says, I want to live so I can tell him. And man, this single page of FREY just looks amazing. The aura that she's emitting, I feel Natsu in this instance, like legitimately. She is giving off full-on Natsu vibes, and also a bit of Urza in my opinion. This could just be because I'm rewatching the Fairy Tail anime, but yeah, she's giving off like sheer last-ditch Natsu getting up to beat down the bad guy. after a hard fight and just pushing past everything to just destroy the guy in front of him. FREY is giving off that aura, and that flaming arm just looks so cool. I love it when a character uses their abilities to like replace a missing limb or enhance a missing limb or enhance their broken limbs or whatever for like a final last stand. This stand that she's taking against Laozen is so goddamn cool. I love this panel so much. I need this to be colored like right now. I need this to be my new phone wallpaper. And as she gets up, she says, I want to live. I want to spend more time with my classmates. I want to hug Yakuto. I want to avenge my big sis. I also love how Yakuto is just blushing after she says this. And FREY is reeling back her arm, getting ready to land a punch. As Laozen says to shut up, and as FREY launches her fist, the two of them clash blows. Her with her brightly blazing burst blade, and Laozen's demonic super macho punch. As we get a massive explosion in this 2-page spread with both of these attacks clashing. And as the stadium explodes, smoke erupts around the stadium. As the announcer is wondering which side won and who survived. As the chapter ends with Yakuto and God staring down at the arena. Yakuto in shock, and God seemingly not really fazed as the chapter ends. Now look, I was one of the first people to say either FREY unleashes a new ability to basically win, or she dies, or something happens to interrupt the fight, or maybe it ends in a draw. With how this chapter ended, it could go one of 3 ways. Either A, Laozen dies, and FREY barely alive manages to win. 2, FREY dies and Laozen wins, if just barely. Or 3, it's a double knockout, and it's a tie and nobody dies. That's possible. Or it could also just be they both die upon impact. FREY avenged her sister, but she kind of died in the process. Either way, I'm just like, this is a really cool chapter. FREY had a really awesome moment, getting beat down for the most part in this fight, but just really building up and just going all out, not wanting to die, to fight for her sister and the people that she cares about, to stand up against the person that she despises the most. I think it was perfect. I know it's a classic shonen trope whenever this stuff happens, and it's a Mashima trope in general, but he does this stuff pretty well. And the way it's executed in this chapter, I think it's being done really well, and the way things are left off with that cliffhanger, it could go either way. And next month can't come sooner. But what did you guys think of this chapter? Leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And if you haven't already, like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for updates on future videos. Really helps, and it shows you guys enjoy the content I make here on the channel and shows you want to see more. Also, I am planning to do more content for Dead Rock in between chapters because, my god, I need to really actually lock in and do Dead Rock content outside the chapters to keep the conversation going between, because a month between videos is just not enough to get people engaged and want to check out this series. So look forward to potentially some more Dead Rock videos in the future. Now with all that said and done, I hope you all have an awesome day.